1st of May 1976 FA Cup final for Southampton versus Manchester United held one of the biggest upsets to date since the FA Cup began in 1871. Manchester United were the reigning champions of the second division, having been promoted to the first division for the 1975-76 season. Southampton, who were just a mid-table second division team, had gone on a monstrous cup run and were ready to take on the English giants. Southampton had a shaky start to the game, with Turner making some incredible saves to keep them alive in what the stadium thought was going to be an absolute demolition of the Saints.
Good ball, and he's onside Hill, and Turner earned the money then.
Half-time comes and it's still 0-0, as tense as ever. Over 90,000 people at Wembley Stadium ready to witness history. The game went back and forth with a notable chance from Mickey Channon to try and put the Saints ahead, but was ultimately denied by Manchester United. Just as the game was wrapping up in the 83rd minute, as fans around the ground were thinking it was going to be a bore 0-0 draw, Jim McCalliog takes the ball and launches it over to find Bobby Stokes, who will then find his way past the Manchester United goalkeeper to put Southampton 1-0 up 7 minutes before the end of time and win the FA Cup for Southampton Football Club. This is the biggest achievement in the club's history ever. Southampton Football Club are one of 8 teams to not be in the top division and win the FA Cup since it began in 1871. And Bobby Stokes wrote his name in history as a man to cause one of the biggest upsets in FA Cup history. But speaking of history, that wasn't the only historic event that happened at the time. That was Queen Elizabeth II's last ever game where she attended the FA Cup final and presented the trophy to the winners. 50 years later takes us to 2026, which is now, where Southampton Football Club have just released their new kit to commemorate the 1976 winners. Now, it is blue and yellow like this one. It's not this one. I have ordered mine, and you can too. Here's what it looks like. So as you can see, it's a fantastic replica of the kit that was worn 50 years ago. And if you look really closely, you can see the signatures of all 15 players who played throughout the FA Cup run and Laurie McMenemy's. This historic shirt will be worn on Saturday the 10th of January when Southampton take on Doncaster in the FA Cup third round. But that's not all. Southampton are releasing 1,976, 1976 when we won the FA Cup, editions of this shirt to fans, where you can pre-order now on their site. When you get your shirt, the sponsor, which is P&O Cruises for this season, have actually resigned themselves from this kit. There is an option where you can add it if you want to, because when the boys play on the 10th of January, they will be wearing it with the P&O logo. However, you don't have to have it with it. There will be no logo that replaces it, so you can have a plain kit or you can have one with the P&O logo, but that is totally up to you. I've got mine. The main shirts are £120 and the goalkeeper shirts are £80, and 10% of the profits are going to the players who played in the FA Cup in 1976.